South Korea is still the world's biggest shipbuilder, and this, the Triple E, will be the world's biggest ship. South Korea is making 10 of them, costing $1.9 billion. As long as the Empire State Building is tall and as wide as an 8-lane highway, each ship can carry 18,000 containers, enough to transport 18 million flat-screen TVs. While the economy has grown exponentially, South Korea's political journey toward democracy has been more tumultuous. A combination of military rule, dictatorship, corruption trials and assassination has dogged the country. The effects of this political instability can be seen even today, when its parliamentarians disagree in a spectacular fashion. South Korea's industrial rise has been less volatile, but no less challenging. Heavy industry and labour-intensive industry like textiles were the nation's mainstay in the 1970s. But its neighbour Japan had an unbeatable reputation for cars, electronics and desirable gadgets. South Korea wanted what they had.
In the early days, it's got to be admitted that Korea had a rather shady past in its relationship with Japan, that over the weekends, Japanese technicians would make a bit of extra money by coming over and selling secrets to the Koreans. Korea became a master of the copycat technology, but that doesn't mean that it isn't innovative. It becomes very powerful at using its control of management, of costs, of production systems, to be a very powerful, what it calls fast follower.
The speed of South Korea's catch-up in the 1980s was meteoric. It became one of the tiger economies of Asia and a magnet for money. Investment in the economy was huge, both from abroad and at home. But by the late 1990s, the relationship between the banks, the chaebols and the government created an investment bubble. In 1997, that bubble burst, and South Korea was bankrupt.
The Asian financial crisis of the late 90s was very tough on Korea. About 20% of the large conglomerates failed. Many of the others were in tough financial condition.
South Korea needed a $58 billion bailout. The International Monetary Fund stepped in, but wanted to change the cronyism that had helped create the crisis. South Korea had survived occupation and war to become one of the world's leading trading nations. Could they do it all over again?
I got it on tape! I got it!
These lights were observed by thousands of people.
This was definitely not an airplane. It was unlike anything I'd seen before or after.
They were kind of hovering. This thing just floated across the sky. It was exciting and it was disturbing.
This was an event over a major city.
I just don't know of any earthly explanation for what we saw.
So there's something there, and I can't explain what it is.
I've never seen anything like those lights.
UFO Hunters, Sundays at 8 on History HD.
Something very strange is happening on this planet.
What if human evolution was manipulated?
There are things out there we do not understand.
What if aliens really did help shape our history?
Our past is way different than what we're being taught.
A theory some believe cannot be true, but many agree cannot be ignored.
It leaves you feeling a little nervous.
History brings you a startling series, Ancient Aliens, Sundays at 8:55 on History HD.
Get this season started.
Oh, I'm coming. You gotta have the adrenaline pumping and trees flying.
New locations.
Oh yeah, this is how they do it in Alaska.
New characters.
You don't like it, Joe? Get out of here.
I'm gonna tell him to shut his mouth.
8 crews compete.
Move, 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 move.
In their toughest season yet.
Woo! That was exciting.
Axemen, Thursdays at 8 on History HD. Made every day.
Looking at the gleaming cars rolling off this Hyundai production line at a rate of 12,000 a day, it's hard to believe that 14 years ago, South Korea was bankrupt. Back in 1997, to save their country's failing currency, 3.5 million Koreans donated jewellery and 227 tons of gold, which drove the global price of gold down to an 18-year low, but helped raise more than $1 billion and demonstrated how determined the whole country was to rebuild its fortunes.
There is a sort of esprit de corps, I have to say, and there is a very strong Korean national identity.
This monument symbolises the suffering of Korean families who can't return to the north since the ceasefire.
This country has come so far so fast. It has to do with the separation of other Koreans on the peninsula. And it has to do with the sort of yearning to create a greater Korea, a greater presence on the world stage. So I think that's the driving force.
The International Monetary Fund's $58 billion loan to bail out the country came with provisos. The banking system was restructured and the chaebols underwent change.
Hyundai was at that time part of a larger Hyundai group that was diversified enough that even though it had problems, its survival still looked pretty solid. And in fact realized that there was a good opportunity for acquisitions. That was the time that we were able to buy half of Kia, which at that time was the second largest automaker in Korea and was in real danger of failure.
Buying Kia and the reorganization that followed the economic crisis took Hyundai from a car-making minnow to the 5th largest in the world. It's all a long way from the company's first car, the Pony.
There was kind of a kit of parts. It was almost a United Nations of vehicles. The manufacturing and the engineering know-how came from the UK, the design came from Italy, the engine came from Japan.